Hey, welcome everybody to a special edition of Rise Up the Show. I got a really awesome special guest with me today, and I'll introduce her here in a sec. But as you all know, every Tuesday and Thursday leading up to Rise Fitness Business Conference, we're going to be doing a Facebook Live with each speaker. Where it's called The Road to Rise 2018. And today I got one of my favorite speakers. I'm actually really looking forward to this talk. Molly Galbraith. I messed up your first name, got the last name right. And John Goodman. Hello, John Goodman. I know John's there. I've been a huge fan of Molly's for quite some time. Love her work with Girls Gone Strong and the Girls Gone Strong movement around women and health and fitness and loving their body and a positive look on their body. And I've bought some of the courses. I've had some of my trainers jump in and take some of the courses. So I'm just excited to be doing this Facebook Live as having Molly on. So Molly, welcome to Rise Up the Show.
Thank you, Khaled. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I am incredibly excited and honored to be at Rise in October.
I'm excited to have you. It's been like 3 years in the making, trying to make the schedules work right. I know how busy you are, so I was super excited when you said yes. I'm like, yes, we got Molly this year. I wanted to kick things off with just kind of giving everybody a little bit of a background on your journey leading up to kind of where you are today, like with the creation of Girls Gone Strong and where all that came about. Like what's been your journey in the fitness industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So my personal story is pretty long. There's a lot of twists and turns, so I'll try to keep it brief so we can get to some other stuff. But I was an active child growing up. I was a competitive gymnast for 5 years, which is hysterical because I'm almost 6 feet tall. And I have an affinity for picking sports that are less than ideal for my body type. But I was a competitive gymnast for 5 years. I was a cheerleader for a couple years in high school. End of high school and beginning of college, I got very sedentary. My eating habits kind of caught up with me, I guess you could say. And it was February of 2004. I was 19 years old, and I was like, I want to get in shape. And I don't know what that means. But, so same way for like a lot of trainers with their clients. A client comes like, I want to get in shape, and they have no idea what that actually means. That's what I did. I hired a trainer, worked with him for about 6 weeks. As a poor college student, I couldn't afford to continue doing that. So I started working out on my own after that. About 8 months later, I started dating a guy at the gym who was a trainer, which is much more economical. He was a competitive powerlifter and bodybuilder. So I was thrust into the world of extreme exercise and lifting pretty early on. So this is, gosh, when I tell people now, I'm like, I did my first powerlifting meet in 2005. It's like 13 years ago. Not very many women in the weight room when that happened. And I just absolutely fell in love with fitness. I was actually in school for business, but I'd already changed my major a couple times. So I wasn't interested in going back and changing my major again. So I continued on with my degrees in business, but just absolutely had this huge passion for health and fitness. And so around, I did powerlifting and figure between 2005 and 2009. 2010, I co-founded a gym in Lexington, Kentucky with my former business partner. Had that for about 4 years. And I was so passionate to be in fitness that I undertook a bunch of different projects along the way. But in terms of my personal journey, 2009 powerlifting, 2010, was really interested in continuing to get stronger. 2012, I had a pretty devastating year, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later in this live when you ask me some big questions. But I had a really difficult year in 2012. You rewind a little bit. August of 2011 was the first meeting that would become Girls Gone Strong. So a lot of people don't know the backstory to Girls Gone Strong. But in the spring of 2011, a little known guy named Brett Contreras sent an email to myself and maybe 10 other women in the fitness industry. And he said, hey, ladies, it's time for more women to rise up in the world of strength and conditioning. You guys are all doing great work. You're all connected. Do something cool. And that was a great, really nice email to receive, but, nothing really came of it. And then about 3 or 4 months later, a woman sent me a tweet. Her name was Allie McKee, and she said, it would be so fun if we could all work out together sometime. And I was already planning on attending a powerlifting meet to watch my friend Julia Ladewski lift, along with another woman named Jen Comas. So these names are probably ringing a bell for a lot of you all listening. And so we sent an email to everyone that Brett had emailed, along with several other women that we were friends with, and people were located all over the world, and said, hey, we're going to be in Cincinnati supporting Julia. If anybody wants to get together, come on, hang out. So 7 women showed up, and that ended up being the beginning of Girls Gone Strong. So we had a fantastic weekend together. We all wanted, we were all seeking community and support. And again, we were oftentimes the only woman in the weight room where we were lifting, and we wanted other women to kind of connect with. And we chatted that weekend, and it's like, well, I want to help women. I want to help women. I want to help women. And we're like, we can't let this energy die. And that was that's the origin story for Girls Gone Strong. So it was August 2011. We're coming up on 7 years.
Wow. And what's been the journey of these last 7 years? Like going from 7 to now, like, I think it was 600,000 now that it's impacted. And so like, what's like, how, like, what are the stories? Like, what are you hearing? What are you seeing?
Oh my gosh, there's so much, so when I look back at kind of at least how the organization has evolved in the last 7 years, it's been really incredible. We started in 2011 because we wanted to preach the gospel of strength training for women. And we're like, women should strength train. And I joke that like our evolution now is like women should actually do whatever they want with their bodies. And we hope they choose strength training because it's such a powerful tool. But really, we started saying like, this is what's changed our lives, and this is what we think women should do. And, over the last 7 years, we've realized that true health encompasses so much more than strength training, right? There's nutrition, there's mental health, there's sexual health, there's pre and postnatal health. There's, all kinds of different social justice issues that intersect closely with women feeling safe, comfortable, strong, happy, healthy, having access to fresh foods and, good medical care and all of these things. So we realized that fitness was so much broader than just strength training. So over the last 7 years, in terms of our mission of Girls Gone Strong, we really want to show women all that's possible for their lives and their bodies and provide evidence-based, body-positive, sustainable tools to help them reach their goals. And last year, we opened the doors to our Coaching and Training Women Academy, which is the world's first online comprehensive evidence-based certifications for health and fitness professionals that are focused specifically on women. So we have our GGS-1 coaching certification, which is a comprehensive coaching certification that covers women-specific psychology, coaching, nutrition, anatomy and physiology, exercise, rest, recovery, and programming across a woman's lifespan, including all the sex differences between males and females. And then we have our pre and postnatal coaching certification, which covers pre and postnatal specific coaching, psychology, nutrition, exercise, the birth process, rest and recovery, and programming. So we were so excited to release that to the world starting last year, because we know, like you said, we have over 600,000 women in our community. We reach millions of women every year through our website, our social media platforms, our closed Facebook groups, all of these different ways. But we know that the best way to amplify our impact tenfold or 100-fold is to educate the health and fitness professionals who work with those women every day, because often, they're the gatekeepers. They're on the front lines of these conversations with women.
How? So with certification and the coaching academy.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there. What did you say?
Is that better?
Yes, that's better.
Cool. With the coaching academy and the certifications, I think for me, like, how many actually guys or men have gone? Because I know for me, when you came out with that pre and postnatal, I ended up buying it because I knew a lot of our clients and like at the gym I worked at wanted more pre and postnatal. Like, what are you seeing from the men in the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So 67 to 75% of people who hire a coach or trainer identify as women, and 85% of women will have a baby at some point in their life. So if you're a health and fitness professional, you work with women, most likely, unless you specialize in, like male athletes of a particular, male golfers or something like that. Like, there's a good chance if you're working with general population clients that you work with women, and there's a great chance that those women will get pregnant or will have or have had a baby at some point in their life. So it's super important. Both of those certifications touch on a bunch of really important information. But I would say at this moment, about 25% of our students are men, which is really exciting because they're recognizing the value of understanding, connecting with, serving, and empowering the clients that they work with. And they're willing to say, I don't know. And there's a lot that there is to know about serving women well. And I talk about that a lot in my presentation that I'm going to give at Rise, is that, as a trainer, if you've been a trainer for a while, you know that helping your clients and really serving them well is about so much more than sets and reps and squats and carbs, right? It's oftentimes feel like you're a bit of like a psychologist for them or a therapist for them, and you're really helping them in helping them achieve their physical goals. You're helping them realize their potential in so many other areas of their lives. And I think a lot of trainers are starting to understand that they're not prepared for that. And especially if they're a guy, they already feel like they don't understand women, right?
Right.
So they already feel that way. And so then they're starting to recognize, oh, wow, hey, I'm really missing a lot of tools here. I have no idea what to say if my client says that she feels fat, right? Or I didn't realize that taking girth measurements would freak my clients out so much. Or, what do I do? Like you said, if a woman's pregnant or has recently had a baby, how do I talk to her about the incontinence she might be experiencing when we're doing this particular exercise? So I think a lot of guys are starting to realize the value of learning from Girls Gone Strong. And just because you're a woman doesn't mean you know the information either. I've been in fitness for almost 15 years now, and was like learning from the leaders in the industry, and didn't even realize all the specific considerations about that I needed to understand about working with pre and postnatal women until probably 5 or 6 years ago. So I was 8 or 9 years into fitness, seeking all of the best information possible. I haven't had children, so that wasn't kind of on my radar. And even then I was like, well, don't let them overheat. They make sure that they're well hydrated. I know that their ligaments soften a bit, but that was kind of it. That was all the education that I had about helping pre and postnatal women. So even women, just because you are a woman doesn't mean that you understand how to serve particular populations, and don't understand all of the important information that you need to know about serving them well either. So about 25% of our students are guys. The rest are women. And, we've had such an incredible response. Like you said, you took the free mini course and you saw how valuable that was. You can imagine what it's like when you get a 600-page textbook. I don't know if you can see the textbook behind me. When you get a 600-page textbook in the mail.
That's crazy. I'm definitely going to have to check it out myself. What's been for you these last 7 years since that inaugural moment of getting all the women together and seeing Girls Gone Strong make this shift on from strength, not just strength training, but all the aspects that involve health and fitness? What's been the most fulfilling part of it for you? What's been the biggest, maybe fulfilling and maybe the biggest growth for you?
Yeah, I think for me, recognizing the kind of social conditioning that women have experienced about what their bodies are supposed to look like, what our lives are supposed to look like, what we think is acceptable or appropriate for ourselves. I think recognizing, that so many of us have grown up in this world, well, your body's supposed to look like this, and you're supposed to get married at this age, and you're supposed to have kids, and you're supposed to, and this is what your life, you're supposed to get a job and buy a house and all this kind of stuff. This is what your life is supposed to look like. I think recognizing all the ways that we've been socially conditioned to have these ideas of what our life and our body are supposed to look like, and recognizing that we don't actually have to agree with or align with any of that, and helping people understand that they're in charge of their life, they're in charge of their body, they get to decide what they want to do with it, they get to decide what they want to eat and how they want to move and where they want to live and what they want to do and who they want to love and all of these kinds of things. It's become a much bigger thing than just, again, strength training. It's become agency and autonomy, and feeling empowered in your body. And no longer, I spent so many years of my life so obsessed with the way that my body looked. And so much of my valuable time and energy was involved in my up a pound on the scale this week. If I pinch the, fat on my stomach, is it bigger than it was before? And that is I understand people certainly have, aesthetic goals and performance goals and health goals and things, but I devoted so much of my life to that last 2% that doesn't really matter, right? I move well. I move well, I move often, I'm strong, I eat well, all of these kinds of things. And I was so obsessed with the number on the scale. And even the weight on the bar at times when I was doing powerlifting stuff, and I let so much of my worth be wrapped up in that. It's been so amazing for me to see what I can achieve and what I can do when my mind is not so consumed with everything that's wrong with my body and everything I need to do to fix it. And so that's kind of, it's just been so powerful. You know, people come to us because they want to, again, achieve some physical or aesthetic goal, and we can help them do that. And then they're like, oh my gosh, like now my whole world is opened up. Let's see what else I can do. So that's been a really, really big, powerful shift for me over the last several years.
So, you know, and this is something I experience even now, like running a club that I run with the clients I have, is women still look at that number on the scale and base their success on whether that number moves down or up for women that are trying to put on some lean muscle or whatnot. Like, do you think at some point down the road, like that mindset will change? Like, you know, or maybe a second part to that is, what is continuing to drive that mindset of solely focused on that number?
Yeah, so that's such a great question, and that's something that I tackle a whole lot of in my talk at Rise. So I'm super excited and glad you asked that question. You know, I realize when I step outside the GGS bubble, you know, like in my bubble, so many women don't care about that number, and so many women, you know, have other goals, and so many women spend their time and energy thinking about the size of their impact and not the size of their thighs, right? But when I step out of that for a second, I was spending some time with some people in my family recently, and there was all this talk about, you know, diet, and I'm blowing my diet, and I'm eating so bad, and oh my gosh, I'll get back on Monday, and things like that. And so it's kind of like I lose my. I'm kind of like, wait a second, where am I? Like, what alternate reality am I in? And I remember that so much of the world is like that. I do think that there is a shift happening. But, you know, these things take a while. It has to start with the people who start the shift, right? And then the people who, you know, see that and they're like, I want to be like that. And then the people who are like, wait a second, I don't quite know what that is, but they look like they're having a lot of fun over there. And then the people who don't even know that they want that shift yet, right? So it takes a while for these things to really build up momentum. And so, you know, I talk in my presentation, the numbers are staggering. So 80% of women in the US and Canada feel dissatisfied with their bodies. 81% of 10-year-olds are afraid of being fat. There's all kinds of, you know, media influences. You know, we see somewhere between 4,000 and 10,000 images a day. And media scholar Jean Kilbourne says that only we only process 8% of an image consciously. So 92% of an image that we see is processed by our subconscious. And that really powerfully shapes and reinforces our ideas about what, you know, a body should look like: a good body, a fit body, a healthy body. In our GGS1 coaching certification, Dr. Larissa Mercado Lopez writes, you know, if you Google the image of fit woman, what you see come up is really homogeneous. She's usually young, she's usually white, she's usually quite lean, she's usually lightly muscled, she's usually in nice workout clothes and looks like she has access to nice facilities and all these things. So that powerfully shapes what our like perception of a fit body, right? Tells us the age of a fit body, the race of a fit body, the size and shape and leanness, and, you know, socioeconomic class of people who deserve to have good health and be fit. And so, you know, there's so much powerful messaging that we're getting all day long, every day, especially for people who are interested in fitness, because the advertisements that they see are going to be even more geared towards fitness. So there's a lot of powerful social conditioning about it. And we also know that the majority of the biggest influence on a child's image of their body is going to be their same-sex, you know, caregiver, or, you know, often their parent. So it's a lot of what's being reinforced and happening in the home, what they're hearing, what they're seeing. You know, is mom constantly weighing herself? Is she always on a diet? Is she always saying, no, I can't? Is she saying, no, I'm being bad? So we're getting it from the inside and the outside, which is, you know, makes it doubly powerful and even more difficult to dismantle. But the good thing is there are lots of resources to do that. So again, in my presentation, I talk about how to help clients improve their body image. And it really starts with creating a body positive environment in your space as a health and fitness professional. So there are really powerful things that coaches and trainers can do to create that body positive space so that their clients are encouraged to feel better about themselves.
And what are some ways, I have to cough, excuse me. Excuse me. So speaking about your talk at Rise, like what are some ways that we can create that environment of body positive? Like what are a couple ways?
Yeah, there are a couple powerful ones. So first one is not assuming that healthy and fit looks a particular way. So not assuming that, that all, like if someone comes in your gym and you see, their particular body shape or size, not making assumptions about them. So we did some research in our GGS community last year, and we had kind of came up with the top 5 mistakes that women who had negative interactions with their coaches and trainers reported, and being judged based on their ability level or size was one of the top 3 things that they complained about the most. So, and that goes both ways, right? So that goes with assuming that your client's really fit, and then assuming that your client's not fit because of their body size. So women who were underestimated felt discouraged, angry, and unmotivated, and women who were overestimated felt apprehensive and unsafe, and often ended up getting injured. So first things first, don't make any assumptions about your client's ability level or health level based on their shape or size. So have an assessment process for your clients. Make sure that you're assessing each one individually. Number 2 is not assuming your client's goal for themselves. So, there are lots of clients who reported going into a gym and saying, I really want to increase my deadlift. And the trainer's like, okay, great. So let's talk about weight loss. And they're like, okay, no, that's not actually a goal for me. I came here because I want to increase my deadlift. And they're like, yeah, well, you also want to lose body fat too, right? Or you also want to lose weight too, right? And the client's like, no, I didn't actually come here for that. I came here to increase my deadlift. And the trainer was like short circuiting, like didn't even know what to do. Like, woman, not want weight loss? What, huh? So not assuming your client's goals for their for themselves and for their bodies, not prioritizing what appear to be ideal clients over other clients. So if you have, like young, conventionally attractive, fit clients that you're training, spoken to a number of women who go to a really well-known gym. Not even going to give away the city because that might give it away, but a number of women who go to this really well-known gym with incredibly well-respected trainers. And these women are, in their 40s and 50s, and they said that they constantly feel like other clients, younger clients, more fit clients, more conventionally attractive clients are prioritized over them, and it's leading to a lot of dissatisfaction with the environment and the atmosphere at the gym. So if you're paying money, you want to make sure that you're getting the attention and coaching and stuff that you deserve from your from the coaches and trainers that you're working with, and then really using body positive messaging and marketing when you're not only marketing to your clients on your website and on your flyers and your materials and such, but also within your gym. So if you have murals or posters or things up in the wall, are they posters that objectify and sexualize women, or do they show a diverse range of ages, races, body types, ability levels, all of these different kinds of things. So really, making sure that you're being mindful and intentional about not prioritizing one particular body shape, size, age, race, ability level over another in your marketing materials and in the atmosphere within the gym. So all 4 of those. So not assuming someone's ability level based on their shape or size, not assuming what their goal is, ensuring that taking care and being intentional about not prioritizing what could be considered ideal clients over other clients, and then using really positive, body positive marketing and messaging. So again, that's going to be avoiding things like get your pre-baby body back, or tighten and tone your tummy in 10 days, that kind of stuff, right? So sticking to more body positive messaging within your gym and your marketing materials.
So we say that, and yet when we look at, if you look at some of the Facebook ads that are running or some of the marketing that, right? I see your eyes pop up there. So we're talking about that, but yet the action is completely going the other way, where we're still showing the girl with water dripping down, in a bikini or in a like. So where's the disconnect? Like, where is it? Like, what's causing that?
I can tell you the disconnect is that we're talking about it and other people aren't, So, I mean, truly, like, again, I think we're in a little bit of a bubble where it's like, oh, yeah, we understand that this stuff is important, but it hasn't quite hit the mainstream yet. I've been speaking at some events over the last year or two, and again, not going to say anything about where, but I get approached by typically, I get approached by lots of people, thankfully, saying that they're grateful for the work of Girls Gone Strong, but I get approached by a lot of the fellow male presenters. So like, I love what you're doing. I love your work. I love blah, 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 blah about Girls Gone Strong. I think it's so cool. And then I'll sit in on their presentation and I am just like, holy moly. Like this whole thing is laced with misogyny and sexism and fat phobia and, all of these kinds of things. So I think that for a lot of people, it's like an Instagram meme, right? Like treat other people how they want to be treated. Like that sounds great, but in practice, it's really hard. And so I think saying creating a body positive environment, being diverse in your marketing, not prioritizing, particular body types, that's really hard to put into practice. So I think intellectually, some people might know it. I still think a lot of people don't know it, or they hear it and it sounds good, but they don't really like get it on a visceral level how important it is. So yeah, I think a very small. So I think if you have the fitness industry here, right? There's this much of the fitness industry that has heard it, and then there's this much who agrees with it, and this much who gets it, and then this much who can put it into practice. So I think it's again, it's going to be like women in strength training. Like I got started in the gym 15 years ago. And it's just now that I can walk into a gym and 40% of the weight room is filled with women. So we're here for the long haul. We're going to be patient and we're going to keep moving forward to, literally that's what we're here for, is to help educate people on why this stuff is so important and give them actionable tools to put into practice with their clients and patients.
So let's talk on that. Let's talk actionable tools, because I want to get kind of, my whole thing is results in advance. So before anyone comes to Rise and listens to your talk and meets you and gets to talk to you, like what are some actionable things they can put into play? Like let's talk about the whole body image posters. Like what are some positive body image words or images I could use if I'm promoting a weight loss, or is that even like what are the right words to use? Like, right? Because it gets confusing. Like, can you say weight? Is that still like, what are the right words?
Yeah, no, I think that's such a great question. We've got a brand new program coming out next week called Get Results, and it's got 4 12-week training programs. And Get Lean is one of the programs, but the other programs are Get Strong, Get Jacked, Get Started. So it's not about weight loss being bad, right? It's not about talking to someone about changing their body being a negative thing. It's about helping women understand that there are so many possibilities for their life and helping inspire confidence that you're going to give them the space to decide what they want for themselves, to navigate through it, right? Because again, if someone comes into you and they're like, I want to get in shape, like, you have to help as a coach, you got to help them figure out what that actually means, help them articulate what they're looking for, and then break it down into goals and then practices and skills and things like that. So it's not that talking about weight loss is bad or wrong. It's just helping them see that they have options other than that, I think is really powerful. So, we use, again, Get Strong, Get Jacked, Get Lean. We talk about muscle gain. We talk about strength gain. We talk about empowerment. We constantly say there's no wrong way to have a body, which is another really powerful thing that a lot of our clients have enjoyed. And so, the marketing side of things, like if you're going to market a program, like that's totally not my jam. I'm like mission, vision, content, voice. That's kind of my thing. And then I talk to the people who do marketing stuff and I'm like, that's not okay. Or, that's perfect. Let's go that route. But yeah, I think if you're going to market, it's not about the marketing of the weight loss program being wrong. It's about making them feel like that their body's wrong right now, if that makes sense. So we talk a lot again about results, about helping women achieve their goals, about helping them, and when we say like we can help you lose body fat, we're like, hey, we can help you lose body fat, get stronger, gain muscle, improve your health. You know what I mean? Just making it one of the offerings on the table so that they see that there's other possibilities as well.
Now, who is part of? I know you're the co-founder of Girls Gone Strong, but who else is involved in the Girls Gone Strong movement? Who are some of the other coaches?
Oh my goodness. So we have so many incredible coaches. With our pre and postnatal coaching certification, we had 17 professionals from all over the world. So they came from 5 countries: US, Canada, Mexico, the UK, and Australia. And then with the GGS1 coaching certification, we had 20 women involved in that. And they're people, they're physiotherapists and strength and conditioning coaches and pre and postnatal fitness experts and registered dietitians and all kinds of incredible people. So we've got different people. So we've got a core group of people who work on kind of the day-to-day behind the scenes, keeping the organization moving. And then when we go to create a massive project like our pre and postnatal coaching certification or like the GGS1 coaching certification, we bring in a ton of different experts. So we were so honored with GGS1 to have women like Krista Scott Dixon involved, which was just incredible. Dr. Helen Coleus, who's also one of the co-authors. So the three female co-authors of the Precision Nutrition certification also worked on our GGS1 certification. So that was cool. That was pretty incredible. So Dr. Krista Scott Dixon, Dr. Helen Coleus, and Cam DePutter all were the three women who worked on PN, and they were all part of our GGS1 coaching certification. We've got Marika Hart, who's an incredible physiotherapist and pre and postnatal expert out of Australia. We've got Sandy Hilton, who's an incredible physiotherapist, Dr. Carrie Pagliano. We've got several members of the American Physical Therapy Association section on women's health, the women who are board of directors for that, Dr. Meryl Alapatu. We've got Jen Comas, who runs our Strongest You coaching program. So Jen Comas is also a co-founder of Girls Gone Strong, and she's our head coach for our Strongest You coaching program, which is absolutely, so cool. Even our editors, Yvonne Ward and Fabi Merrier, both have degrees in fitness and or are coaches themselves. So even like everyone, our project manager was an assistant coach at PN and has a background in Olympic weightlifting and nutrition and stuff. So it's so cool because even the people who work on the stuff that's not directly related to the content all have a background in health and fitness, which is really incredible and powerful. So so Amber Leonard Tomey is another one, master's degree, and I don't even remember what I've read everybody's bios. Ingrid Markham, who was an National Olympic weightlifting champion. U.S. bobsledder. I mean, she's incredible. So she's been a big contributor to our GGS1 coaching certification. So the amazing thing is Dr. Lisa Lewis, who is Tony Gentilcore's better half, equal half, or whatever, something like that. Is married to Tony Gentilcore, so she's contributed a ton as the psychologist to both of our certifications. So that's the really amazing thing, because we cover coaching, psychology, anatomy, physiology, nutrition, exercise, programming, rest, recovery. We have to have this incredibly varied group of experts. And the amazing thing about the certifications and basically all of the content that we put out is that it's not like Lisa wrote the psychology chapter, right? Carolina Balmeras is another one I forgot to mention. Doula, PN2, does a lot of work with PN and OTA. And so we will have 6 or 7 women write, review, edit, tear apart, rewrite, revise, whatever, every single chapter of our certification. So every chapter of the certification has been touched by no fewer than 6 experts and sometimes up to 10, which is pretty cool. So all kinds of incredible world-class experts. Our OBGYN was the director of minimally invasive gynecology at the University of Illinois, Chicago. These women are just
an amazing group of men and women.
And it's like Molly Galbraith, co-founder of Girls Gone Strong.
I love it, man. I love it. Right.
I mean, that's the thing. I've been blessed enough to be able to bring together this incredibly accomplished group of super smart women. So I'm a CSCS, former gym owner. I got a couple of accolades in there, but these women are literally in terms of their formal education and their decades of practice working with clients and patients. It's been incredible, and that's another really special part of what we've been able to do is that it spans so many industries, right? Like we take an interdisciplinary approach to the information that we put out because so many people in health and fitness are in their own little silos and they're like, mine, my client, my patient, you can't have them. And we realize the value of taking an interdisciplinary approach. So we've got, people who are licensed mental health professionals and strength coaches and physios and all, registered dietitians and medical doctors enrolling in the certifications because they're recognizing that, there's a lot more to helping their clients and patients than just the little, just their very deep but narrow area of expertise.
That's awesome. What is for you, girl, if you got to look at 5, 10, 15 years down the road, maybe 10 years down the road, what's the impact Girls Gone Strong is going to have on women's health, women's fitness? Like for you, what's that vision look like?
Yeah, that's such a great question. You know, I think the pendulum in our industry, you know, always kind of swings back and forth, right? So there was a point in time at which we were like, you know, women are delicate flowers. They shouldn't lift more than 3 pounds or whatever. They should just do cardio to tone, all this kind of stuff. Then the pendulum swung back the other way. And it's like, women should train like men, and, you know, they don't need to do anything different, and they can do, you know, they can, you know, lift the same weights and do the same workouts, and there are no special considerations. And so I think having an industry that understands that there are special considerations when it comes, you know, special considerations, right? Women are 67% of the population. We're not a freaking footnote. Or 67% of like health and fitness science. We're not a footnote, right? And that's kind of that's the crap that is so frustrating. You know, if you read a kinesiology book or a biomechanics book or whatever, you'll get like the subtext that they're not telling you about is that everything in the book is about an 18-year-old white male, right? Like they're not like, and then there's like a footnote about like pregnancy, or like, well, females might respond differently, but we don't know because we haven't invested in studying them, or whatever. So I think the industry recognizing that there are differences between training men and women, but that it's not about women being weaker or more delicate or needing kid gloves, right? It's just that there are different considerations, both anatomically, you know, and psychologically and physiologically. There are some differences between training men and women, and also that our experiences growing up in our, you know, in our bodies changes our perception of our interactions with our coaches and trainers, right? So that's something that I've been talking about in my presentations a lot as well. Like a super high percentage of women are victims of sexual abuse or trauma. Like, you know, they've had these, they've experienced harassment, they've experienced all of these kinds of things. So if you're a male trainer, female client, you're relationally dominant to her because you're her trainer. You're probably physically dominant to her on average. And you're leering over top of her, asking her to do a glute bridge in a crowded gym. Like, are you thinking about, you know, what she's wearing? Are you thinking about the fact that you could be, you know, triggering some type of response based on trauma that she's experienced while you leer over top of her while she lies on the ground? You know, like there are these kinds of things that are so much more important than muscle fiber types and, training considerations during a woman's menstrual cycle, right? Like that kind of stuff, unless you're an elite level athlete, matters so much less than can you make this woman feel safe and comfortable and welcome and strong and capable and resilient in her body when she's working with you. And so I think 10 years down the road, I would love for more of the industry to recognize that training men and women on average, right, is different. Obviously, the individual always matters most, but that training men and women on average is going to be very different, but that those considerations that they make for their female clients versus their male clients, it's not about, again, women being weaker, more delicate, or needing kid gloves. It's just different. And giving them the tools to, again, help their clients feel safe, welcome, comfortable, capable, resilient, autonomous, all of these things that affect a woman's perception of her body, right? It's about more than just, you know, the weight on the scale or the size of the clothes that she wears. It's about all of those things, and helping them recognize that it's up to them to create a space where women feel that way when they're working with them.
And the education piece and what's being created, like where can listeners and viewers go get more information on the different courses in the coaching academy?
Yeah, so it's academy.girlsgonestrong.com. And like I said, we've got two. So we've got our GGS1 coaching certification, which covers women-specific coaching, psychology, nutrition, anatomy, physiology, exercise recovery, and programming across a woman's lifespan. And it covers the sex differences between males and females. And we also discuss the difference between sex and gender, since I'm flipping back and forth between saying men and women and males and females. So we discuss that in the book as well, the difference between biological sex and the societal construct of gender. So we talk about that in the textbook. And then we also have our pre- and postnatal coaching certification, which is the pre- and postnatal specific coaching, psychology, nutrition, anatomy, physiology, birth process, rest, recovery, programming, all that kind of stuff. So academy.girlsagainststrong.com. And we also have an incredible closed Facebook group for health and fitness professionals called GGS Coaching and Training Women. I think we've got about 16,000, 17,000 professionals in there right now. They're from all disciplines, and it's people who are brand new all the way up to, veterans in the industry, have been in the industry for 30, 35 years. And it's a super welcoming, inviting, safe environment where you can ask questions. I'd say about 20 to 30% of that group is male as well. So again, a place where they can just come and we post all kinds of new articles, case studies. People ask questions and, can share resources and hear from the experts. So we've got moderators in there, and then we also have our academy experts. So people who write our certifications are in there answering questions as well.
And that's a public group. Anyone can.
Yeah, anybody. Yeah, it's closed, so you have to request. But yeah, it's GGS Coaching and Training Women, totally free. To my knowledge, it's the only space where you can find evidence-based, body-positive, women-specific information for health and fitness professionals. That's really
I'll link all of it up. I'll link everything up so that everyone can click on the link and go check out the academy and the coaching group. And so I got last two questions for you. So for you, like where you are today, like what piece of advice would Molly of today give Molly 10 years ago?
That's such a good question. I talk about this a lot in like my personal writing. So on Instagram or on my Facebook page, I talk a lot about how much of my life I've spent concerned about what other people think. So feeling not good enough and kind of shrinking or being concerned about what other people thought of, what I said or what I did or what I wore, the way my body looked. And it has been such a powerful revelation for me to shed that fear and recognize that, if you're number one, most people probably aren't thinking about me very much anyway, because everybody's so concerned thinking about themselves. Number two, if people do have negative things to say, I love the quote from my good friend Erin Brown. She says, people only have to give what they have inside of them. And, you don't see happy, successful, fulfilled, strong people spending their time judging or concerning themselves with other people, right? They're just busy doing their own thing, and they're really happy when good things happen to other people. And so I think recognizing that people probably aren't thinking about me all that much anyway, recognizing that if they are, being judgmental or nasty or negative, that it's a reflection of what they have going on. And also, that nothing amazing was ever created by people who played small and were afraid of criticism. So it's been I feel lucky to have learned that lesson. I'm 33, I'll be 34 at the end of the month. So I feel super lucky to have learned that lesson relatively early in my life. And I also wonder where I would be if I had learned it even earlier.
Right. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you. It's my birthday month. So, technically we can celebrate like today.
The entire month is your birthday month. So happy birthday month. Last question. And I ask every guest that we've been on the show this question. And it's, what was your rise up moment? And so for you, it's a certain situation, a certain action you took. Like for you, what was your rise up moment?
Yeah, I think that you can see that guy behind me in that picture. Can you see that?
Yes.
That is my dad. And there's also one, I don't want to show too much of my messy place. There's also a cartoon on the wall right there. So 2012, I kind of skipped over this and talking about my journey a little bit. But 2012, I found out my dad was sick on a Saturday and he died on a Tuesday night. /Wednesday morning. And 2 weeks later, I was in the gym working out and I injured my back and started having chronic back pain. 2 weeks later, I hurt my back and then I would go on to have chronic back pain for 2 years. Later that year, I left a 6-year relationship and we had a business together, an online fitness software business together that I had to give up, and I moved back home with my mom and my stepdad. And believe it or not, my nutrition and exercise was not at the forefront of my mind during that period. So I ended up kind of gaining some weight and experiencing a lot of criticism from not just like internet people, but also from my in-person community where I had my gym, and also from my peers in the fitness industry. And so 2012 was a hell of a year. I lost my dad. I lost a lot of my physical capabilities. I mean, I was in tears trying to tie my shoes. I lost a business that I worked on for 6 years. I lost a 6-year relationship. I was 28, I guess, and I moved back home with my parents. I had gained weight. I wasn't able to push myself in the gym the way that I wanted. And this was just over a year into owning or being part of Girls Gone Strong. And it was such a difficult time for me to, wonder and ask myself, like, who am I to own an organization called Girls Gone Strong, right? I'm not strong. I'm not fit. I'm not, this was the story that I was telling myself. And that was a really challenging year for me. And it was, but the reason that I got out of my 6-year relationship was because my dad had died. I began to think, like, life is really short. Is this really what I want for myself? And so while it was a really difficult year, 2012 profoundly shaped me and the way that I would go on to approach everything in my life, from my relationships to my work with Girls Gone Strong, to how I want to live my life, to who I want to be in the health and fitness industry. Do I agree that women's bodies are up for shame and judgment? Do I agree that because I gained 10 pounds that I lost my knowledge and capability to help women? Do I agree that I can only do good work if my body looks a particular way? And so it was a time for me to, through all this adversity, to really challenge those stories I was telling myself and saying, do I agree with these? And if not, how can I dismantle them and shed them and do the work that I was put here to do? So it was a really difficult year for me, but it was certainly, I would say, the one that has shaped me the most personally and professionally.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I know that was personal, so I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, no, well, that's another thing I started going to therapy about 10 years ago when I was in my 6-year relationship, because I struggled to be vulnerable in my relationship. And the joke is that therapy worked too well, because now I'm vulnerable on the internet all the time. So it's like, it's totally fine. I could talk all day about that kind of stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you asking.
We'll have to bring you on for a part 2 on vulnerability.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, hey, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for taking time out of your day. I know how extremely busy you are, and I was really looking forward to today. Like, I've been a huge fan, so this is my chance to fan out here a little bit. And so I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for asking me and following up with me to speak at your event. I'm so glad that it worked out. And anybody who's watching, if you have not already snagged your ticket to Rise, I cannot recommend it enough. It's going to be incredible. I know Khalid put so much of his passion and time and energy into putting on an incredible event. There's going to be so many other cool people there. Kelly Hart's going to be there, Mark Fisher, Tony Gentilcore, Pat Rigsby, all kinds of incredible people. I've heard so many good things about the event from people who have attended. And based on what I know about you and what I know about the other speakers who are going to be there, it's going to be unforgettable. So I really hope that if you're watching this, that I also get to meet you in person at Rise.
Thank you for the plug. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, if you throw those links, and if anybody has any questions about anything related to Girls Gone Strong, they can reach us at info@girlsgonestrong.com. My big sister, Summer, is the one who usually takes care of that inbox. So she'll get back to you as soon as she can.
Cool. I will link all that up. And like Molly said, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, it's early bird is going on, $297 for the 3 days. We just introduced, I keep getting that same head nod every time I say that. We just introduced a split payment, so anyone pay half up front, half in 30 days. So I want to see everyone there. I want you all to meet Molly. I can't wait for your talk. So, hey, I'll see you all on Thursday. We got another speaker coming on the Road to Rise 2018. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.